The Cavs just beat the Portland Trail Blazers, and I feel like this was a great team effort by the Cavaliers to beat the Portland Trail Blazers. What I liked the most about this game was that you had all of your starters in double digits. That was probably the best thing about it. And I think that's what ended up carrying you in that game. You had three starters, 20-plus points. You had one of them plus 15. And then Ricky Rubio came off the bench and provided 9 points in 10 minutes. So 10 very good minutes for Ricky Rubio in this game. And that's what a lot of people are going to want to talk about is Ricky Rubio in his return. And, he looked like a player coming and returning from an injury for a long time. A little hesitant at first, but then he got I think he got like an and one or something like that, or like a layup. It was a very nice shot that he got to go in. And that's when things you felt him go, okay, cool. I'm not going to when you get injured, there's this weird feeling, and legitimately, you don't even have to be like an NBA player or a former NFL guy or a former professional athlete to understand. You could be a regular person who's never really played sports and kind of get it. If you've had a major injury, or if you ever broke a bone, or severely strained or pulled a muscle in your body, and you tried to come back from that to do any kind of strenuous activity, you know that the first few moments that you're trying to come back from that, it's kind of like jumping into a cold pool when you're not used to the pool being that cold, right? Like you're kind of dipping your toe in it, you're kind of putting half your leg in there and maybe getting a little bit comfortable, and then maybe scooching on a little bit more in there. Like you're hesitant to go full go. But once you go full go, it's like you don't even feel the cold anymore. And that's kind of what it looked like Ricky was doing, where he kind of started off slow, was hesitant here and there, wasn't really crisp on some stuff. And then he got that layup and he was like, oh, no, I'm cool. This water not going to kill me. And then he just kept swimming, you know what I mean? And came back and was it right? You just kind of got to make sure that thing's actually going to hold up, because it's a weird feeling, especially like when you've been out for a year. You've had a thing be wrong on your body for a year. You've kind of learned how to deal with that thing being that fragile for a year. And that's a very long time to get used to an injury. So you have to kind of change your mind from being, hey, I got to be careful on this thing's fragile, to now I'm playing basketball again. So good on Ricky. It didn't take him that long to kind of get into the game. I forgot how long Ricky Rubio is. How tall is he? Because he's not very tall. He's only 6'2", but he has very, very long arms. I'd be interested to see what his wingspan is. But it looks like he has like a 6'5" wingspan from what I can tell. I'm not sure, though, so I'm going to Google that. No, he has a 6'9" wingspan. Okay, so it's crazy. So he has a really long wingspan, and similar to Donovan Mitchell, that allows him to play bigger. And that's interesting, right? Because now you can have not only Ricky give Donovan rest, you can have Ricky give Darius rest. And they both didn't play like their normal 39 minutes. Rui only played 10, but that was able to reduce Garland's minutes to 33. I think you got a better performance out of him because of that, and that was able to reduce Donovan's minutes down to 36. And Ricky being that long is a key part in that, right? Like that length helps you defensively, it helps you with zone defenses, and it helps you offensively, because we focus a lot on how tall somebody is, but more so what makes somebody a big man in the NBA has to do with three factors, right? Height's one, wingspan's another, and then strength or weight, right? Like sometimes some guys are big but not strong. Sometimes people are tall but not big. So you know what I mean? And it's a triangle, right, to create somebody's size in the NBA. And sometimes we forget that because we look at a guy on paper. Like Donovan Mitchell's a perfect example. When he first got traded here, a bunch of people looked at that on paper and said, Donovan Mitchell, 6'2". We're going to have two small guards again. It's going to be just like when Colin Sexton was back there defensively. It's going to be a disaster. But they weren't thinking about the triangle of size, right? Because, yes, Donovan Mitchell is 6'3". He does not have a lot adding to that triangle. on that part of it. But he has a 6'8" wingspan, so a lot there. And then he is really strong, so a lot there. So while he is 6'3", he has other things that enable him to play more like a big wing, right? When you watch Donovan Mitchell, he doesn't look like Darius Garland scoring the ball, which is how a usual small guard scores the basketball in the NBA, right? Like kind of like shots, little floaters, things like that. Donovan Mitchell plays like a wing almost, right? He scores like a 6'6", 6'8" wing because he has that wingspan and that strength. It allows him to play above his height, right? Evan Mobley is the inverse of that. Evan Mobley's tall. He's super long. He's not super heavy. So he kind of plays more like a wing than an actual big because he's not strong yet, right? You look at some of the undersized guys in the NBA. PJ Tucker, very long, very strong. So he's able to exist as a center even though he's only 6'5". We can look at Draymond Green, 6'6", but very long, very strong, right? You can make up for height with length and strength in the NBA. And that's what Ricky Rubio has. I don't know why I spent like 3 minutes going in on that, but I do feel like it's important because a lot of us, when we talk about height, we only talk about the height, but size is the term in the NBA. And it's that term for a reason. It's size, not height in the NBA for a reason, because size is so much more than what somebody's listed height at. It's why Kevin Durant's 7 foot tall, but doesn't play like a 7-footer because he's not strong, but he is kind of long, right? But he plays like a guard. You know what I mean? These are the things that make somebody a big in the NBA versus somebody who just happens to be tall, or make somebody a undersized player who doesn't really have the same sizing issues, right? You could call Russell Westbrook undersized technically, even though I think he's 6'5" officially, but he's been listed at like 6'3", but he's super long, super strong, and he's kind of tall, right? Like, so he plays tall. These things make up what we kind of have in our head. And Ricky was one of those ones where I haven't seen him play in so long that I was thinking, well, how can you put him and Darius on the floor together? And then I saw him out there. I was like, oh no, he's very long. Like, we're going to be all right. If you put him at 2, like, we're not talking about having him play the 3 or anything like that, but like, put him at the 2. Yeah, he's fine. And that length defensively could be something that you can go with. Let's say, if you really need to lock down defensively, you can still run Donovan out there, and then put Ricky at the point, and now you have 2 guys with 6'8" wingspans at the top of your front court, of your back court. Like, that's really good. So now you can defend, and then you put Evan Mobley out there, you put Lamar Stevens out there, you can put Jared Allen out there, and now you don't have a single player on that lineup who has a wingspan smaller than 6'8". So you're getting some of that tall ball stuff while being able to play some small ball. So that's something to think about, right? Like, a lot of things to play with. And Ricky's wingspan is something that does come into play there. He played well, 3 from 5 from the floor, 2 from 4 from 3-point, had 10 points, made 1 free throw. Well, no, 9 points. If he would have made both his free throws, he would have got 10 points. Only played 10 minutes. I mean, that's very good, right? The bench scoring was much better, even though Kevin Love didn't do nothing in 15 minutes. Lamar Stevens had a nice 6 points. I thought he played well defensively. He does all the Lamar Stevens stuff where he moves around screens and like gets a dunk every once in a while, or gets like a weirdly clutch jumper in the middle of a game. Like, he's just a very weird player like that. Jetty, he played 8 minutes, got the hook real quick because he just didn't have it. And Karras played 31 minutes and had 4 points, which, hey, look, he made some scores down the stretch, right? Like, so I'm going to let it slide. It's like, again, Karis LeVert is long relief. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Karis LeVert and Jetty Osman are middle relief pitchers, or long relief pitchers, where if Darius and Donovan don't got it, call in the righty or the lefty from the bullpen. One of them might have it. You know what I mean? Let's see. If one of your starters ain't firing, then let's see what we got from the bullpen. Though I'm going to call those 2, Jetty and Karras, they're the bullpen. That's who you go to if one of the starters ain't really smacking like that. You go to the bullpen. So get the shirts made, y'all. That's a free idea. That's a dope nickname too. The bullpen. That's a dope way to rephrase these two players not being very consistent on their production. Like, that is a great rebranding. I'm just saying. Y'all might want to run with that. So shout out to the bullpen. The bullpen didn't do nothing today. But Evan Mobley, 17 points, had a big block in transition late in this game, and is still 8 rebounds. Pretty good game from Evan Mobley. People be on his case sometimes because he's not Giannis yet. The boy's 21. He's really good. Leave him alone. Isaac Okoro, productive night. 4 for 4 from the field. 1 of 1 from 3-point. Clutch 3-pointer too that he made. And I would like to add in there 5 rebounds and 11 points. I would also like to point out with Evan Mobley, I think he had like 4 fouls the whole game. Crazy. And I say that because, like, it's hard to get points when you have a bunch of fouls on you. He got a lot of points, was still aggressive despite the fouls, and did not foul out. So that's good. I think he had 4 fouls by halftime or something crazy like that, or at least early in the third quarter. Jarrett Allen smacked them boys today. 24 11. 24 and 10 rebounds, 6 assists. He almost had a triple-double. And I swear, like 5 of his plays were like lobs or dunks in this game. He played 39 minutes, 11 to 17 from the field, so very good there for Jared. He was actually the second highest scorer of the night. Darius Garland, who struggled a bit early in the game, but down the stretch he was incredible. I think he went like 4 for 4 at the end of this game, and it really helped close this game for the Cavs. And that's one of the things that they did well in this game was close, which is something that we've seen them go up and down with, right? They'll have a couple weeks where they're closing teams out, no problem. We're like, they figured out how to win. And then they'll have a couple weeks where, we got to ask, do they know how to win yet, right? They're a young team. This is part of the process. Some weeks they got it. Some weeks they don't. Literally today was one of those days where they had it. But against Utah, they couldn't close it. You know what I mean? The foul call and everything else got in the way, and they couldn't close that game. And then Donovan Mitchell had a bad night, honestly, for Donovan Mitchell, right? 23 shots is a lot for him. I think he only shot like 28 the day he scored 71. So you can imagine 23 and only getting 26 for him is crazy, like not good for him. That being said, we are judging this on a scale of Donovan Mitchell, which is a crazy high scale at this point. One of the best players in the league. So there's nothing to be ashamed of. Okay, he shot the ball 34 times when he scored 71 points. So this isn't that applicable because this is still like 9 less shots, but still a lot of shots for Donovan here for only 26 points. I say only 20. They used to be something, 26 points. But in this NBA, it's only 26 points. 11 to 23 from the field. Same story as Darius. Really wasn't great in the first half. I think Portland really got out hot, but in that second half, and especially in that fourth quarter, he did Donovan Mitchell stuff to close that game. Which, hey, look, if you're going to choose a half to play bad in, I would prefer it be the first half. You know what I mean? As long as you're going to get it done in the second half. But Darius Garland had 20 and 10 today, 20, 10 and 2. And then Donovan had 26, 5 and 5. And he was the high scorer on the Cavs. High scorer of the night was Damian Lillard, who had a crazy day. 16 to 28 from the field, 5 of 13 from 3-point. So that's not bad, actually. That's not bad. It's not great, but that's not bad. And he went 13 to 15 from the line, 50 points. He was smacking us all day. Nurkic was kind of annoying, 12 and 12. And then Jeremy Grant, we know we can't guard no wings, so 22 for Jeremy Grant. But yeah. That was this game. I thought the Cavs played well. I thought they closed this out. I thought that was a nice step for them to close a game out like that on the road. They've been pretty good at closing these games out at home, to be honest, right? Whenever it goes to overtime or anything like that, they're really good at closing these games out at home, but they've had a couple of collapses on the road. So it's nice to see them get a close game here and not just not collapse, not just not hold on like they did against the Bulls, but like decisively run away with this at the end. And that's what they did there. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. So the Cavs keep rolling. Ricky Rubio is back. The Cavs' schedule going forward is pretty interesting. They play the Minnesota Timberwolves again, who they lost to at home. I think that was their first home loss. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can get that one back. I don't know if Rudy Gobert. They're not good, though. The Timberwolves are not good at this point. What's their record? The Timberwolves are 20-22. So they're worse than they were last year. It's crazy, all the trades they made. Then they play on MLK Day, the New Orleans Pelicans, almost at the Saints. Memphis, at Memphis, versus Golden State at home, versus Milwaukee. So in an Eastern Conference that does not get lighter as time goes on. In the Eastern Conference that is razor thin, right? We're talking about the Cavs being the 4 seed despite having 27 wins, a .623, 628 win percentage, and they're barely holding on to the 4 seed. So in the Eastern Conference, it does not slow down. The Cavs are going to have a big opportunity here to play the Bucks, who they're only a half game behind. So they beat the Bucks and win these next couple of games. They will be the 3 seed again and surpass the Bucks. And if you're a Cavs fan, and this is about the time to start paying attention to this stuff, you want to be 1, 2, or 3 this year in the NBA. Where you don't want to be is in that 4 or 5 game, because that game has the potential to be crazy. You're talking about either it being Cavs 76ers or Cavs Bucks. Like, somebody's going to slip to that 5 seed that does not belong there. But when there are 5 contenders, maybe 6 contenders in the NBA, and 5 of them are in your conference, you want to avoid the 4-5 game, right? Because there's the Celtics, there's the Nets, there's the Bucks, there's the Cavs, there's the 76ers. Those are teams that people feel like are really, really good. And then there's the Knicks, who are the Knicks. There's the Pacers, who are solid but not great. There's the Heat, who might show up at some point, and the Hawks, and then we talking about playing teams after that. So there's a steep drop off after the 5 seed of quality of opponents. You want to get to the second round of playoffs this year. You want to avoid that 4-5 game. So the key this year, get a top 3 seed that gives you the best chance, because that's the difference with playing MVP level Joel Embiid in the first round versus Jalen Brunson and in the Knicks. Like, that's a big difference. No disrespect to the Knicks. Kind of. It's low-key disrespect. But that's my thoughts on this. That's where the Cavs are at. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have a good night.